Through growing up in the Institute in Basic Life Principles IBLP, some of Michelle and Jim Bob's 19 children have spoken out against Bill Gothard's teachings. Jinger is among their adult kids who have publicly rejected many of the IBLP's fundamentalist Christian beliefs. And recently, Jinger Duggar offered blunt insight into her family's reaction to her 2023 memoir. In January 2023, Jinger, the sixth-born Duggar sibling, released a memoir titled Becoming Free Indeed. My Story of Disentangling Faith from Fear. The book shared her experience having been raised in the IBLP, and she condemned many of its ultra-conservative principles. As Jinger prepares to publish another memoir, People Pleaser, Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations, she dished on how family members took her first book. Yes, there were critics. Yes, there were people who were saying very harsh things, Jinger told People in an interview published on January 9. There were loved ones that would say things that were very unkind. It was not easy, she continued. But at the end of the day, I realized it was the best decision. It was the best thing that I could have done to love these people by sharing truth. In February 2023, a source close to the Duggars reportedly spoke with Radar Online about Michelle and Jim Bob's reaction to her memoir. The unnamed source claimed they were embarrassed by Jinger's book. Neither Jim Bob nor Michelle has publicly spoken about the 2023 memoir. Among the shocking revelations in Becoming Free Indeed, Jinger shared that her sister, Jinger Duggar, also left the IBPL. Jessa later confirmed this in an Instagram Q&A that she and her husband, Ben, do not follow the teachings. Meanwhile, Joy Anna Duggar's husband, Austin Forsyth, shared in a YouTube video that they were never part of the IBLP as a couple. During her January 9 sit-down with People, Jinger spoke about how writing her first book was freeing for her. The more that I'm thinking clearly through the why behind I want to speak truth, I need to stand up for the vulnerable, she said. My people-pleasing before would never have allowed me to do that. I would have been silent. In her second memoir, the former Counting On star will open up more about how people-pleasing hurt her and how she has learned to work past it. People Pleaser releases on January 14. Jinger Duggar has been honest about the challenges of growing up in the TLC spotlight and of breaking free from the conservative teachings of her childhood. Jinger is one of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's 19 children who were raised as followers of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, a fundamentalist organization founded by the controversial leader Bill Gothard. Fans watched along as Jinger and her siblings navigated their daily lives on 19 Kids and Counting, which ran from 2008 to 2015, and the spin-off Counting On, which aired from 2015 to 2021. Through stepping away from the world of reality TV, Jinger began to form her own ideas about faith with the help of her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, whom she married in 2016. I'm grateful for my childhood. It was not perfect, but at the end of the day, I'm grateful for my parents, Jinger said on the Unplanned podcast in June 2024. I love them, we have differences, everything's not perfect between us, but I think that at the end of the day, I love them and I know that they know that. Jinger previously opened up about her upbringing in her books The Hope We Hold and Becoming Free Indeed, detailing the quirks of her religious background and the different perspectives she has now. Her latest memoir, People Pleaser, which debuts in January 2025, will delve deeper into the not-so-healthy path she was on. I realized I was a people pleaser from the time I was a teen. There is people-pleasing that shows up in everybody's life every single day, and I think that's why now is the time to write this book, she said on the Jinger and Jeremy podcast in September 2024. Such a problem, and it will always be a problem. Being part of a recognizable family came with a few surprises. Guys would write from prison for my sisters. It was crazy, Jinger said on the Dinner Party with Jeremy Fall podcast in July 2021. We constantly had letters coming in the mail and it was like, oh, who is it for this time? Oh, it's for Jana. Oh, it's for Jessa. It was mind-blowing just to think that somebody thought they would walk right into your life and marry you, like they were already basically proposing in their letters. Jinger added that some of the inmates might have believed the proposals were legit, saying, I can understand how somebody would think, oh, I know you so well because I watched you from a child grow up, so they think that there's a relationship there when there's not. It's like a one-sided thing. Jinger exclusively told us in January 2023 that she definitely recognized that her religious upbringing was cult-like in many ways, adding it was built on fear, manipulation, control, and superstition, so all those things combined in how hard it is for kids to leave or adults to leave anyone, really. Once you hear the teachings, you're not supposed to depart from those. In an interview with People that same month, Jinger said that she was often crippled with anxiety growing up due to the fear and superstition encouraged by Gothard's harmful teachings. I was terrified of the outside world, she admitted. Teaching I grew up under was harmful, it was damaging, and there are lasting effects. In her 2023 book, Becoming Free Indeed, Jinger revealed that out of all 9 of her sisters, she feels most connected to Jessa. She is my closest sibling in age, only 13 months older than me. She is 5th and I am 6th of 19 Duggar kids, Jinger wrote. Growing up, Jessa and I were together all the time. Though all the Duggar girls shared the same room, I often felt like I was roommates with only Jessa. Our beds were next to each other for my entire childhood. Jinger and her siblings were first featured on TV in 2004 before 19 Kids and Counting premiered in 2008. I look at those years and am really grateful for the opportunities that I was able to have, she exclusively told us in January 2023 while reflecting on growing up in the spotlight. Like, we traveled the world, things that we wouldn't have been able to do as a large family. At the same time, I can say I saw also those challenges that came with it. The time, Jinger explained that she and Vuolo talked about whether they wanted to raise their own children in the public eye. Couple welcomed daughters Felicity and Evangeline in 2018 and 2020, revealing in 2024 that baby number 3 is on the way. I spent most of my life on TV. That was my childhood, she told us. Like, that was all I knew. I played with the boom mics and all of that, but my kids are just so not used to it. So it's kind of interesting to see. Fans have long been fascinated with the Duggar family's strict expectations for their children under the IBLP teachings. I thought I had to wear only skirts and dresses to please God. The music with drums, places I went, or the wrong friendships could all bring harm, Jinger told People in January 2023. During an appearance on the Unplanned podcast the following year, Jinger admitted that many of the man-made rules don't make sense, like not being allowed to wear t-shirts. If you have a normal shirt, you're allowed to roll up your sleeves, she explained. But you can't buy a t-shirt that has the sleeves already off. There were also guidelines put in place for courtship, with dates requiring a chaperone. You can't kiss before you're married, you can't hold hands, but I don't see that in the Word of God, Jinger told us in January 2023, revealing how she plans to approach the topic with her own children. I don't think that courtship is a word that we're going to use with them at all, because I don't think that that's the only way to find a spouse or the best way at all. Jinger admitted on Unplanned in June 2024 that she was afraid of the pressures to have as many kids as possible before she became a parent. She recalled having to take care of 2 of her own siblings when she was younger. That I think that parents should take care of their kids. If you have them, you should take care of them. Kids can help out, learn responsibility in other ways, but maybe not in the motherly aspects of what moms or dads should be doing, she said. You have all these imbalances of kids raising kids. I think that I saw that a lot in the system, and I think that that is unhealthy. Jinger also remembered the IBLP teachings impacting her family's life in unexpected ways. We would never do organized sports because we were afraid of influences around us, she said. And so we would do a family sport in the community and we would all play that together. Looking back, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have had maybe more opportunities to explore what I was really interested in that way. During an August 2024 episode of the Jinger and Jeremy podcast, Jinger spoke candidly about growing up with 18 siblings. I remember a few times when we were very young, some of my siblings would take their plate of food, get ready for this, it's disgusting in the bathroom, she recalled. They would carry it and put it on the bathroom counter. My mom would be like, don't do that. They're going to eat it, Jinger added. That's literally what they thought. I'm not going to be able to eat my food because somebody's going to take it and we might not have enough food for seconds today. Counting on alum Jinger Duggar Vuolo is back with a new interview ahead of her new book, People Pleaser. Breaking free from the burden of imaginary expectations, the 31-year-old continues documenting her pregnancy with her 3rd child, all while making podcast videos with Jeremy. Jinger's latest interview features how she deals with online hate. Keep reading to see her statements. Jinger recently participated in an interview in which she opened up about the aftermath of her first memoir, Becoming Free Indeed. According to the Counting on Alum, the book's purpose was to expose the harmful teachings of the IBLP, and she was ready to face criticism as long as she helped the people she loved. However, Jinger admitted that not everyone appreciated what she did, adding that some loved ones would say very unkind things about the book. During the same interview, Jinger talked about how she deals with the hate, especially now that she's about to release a new book. According to the Counting on Alum, she's struggled to get along with everyone since childhood. Due to this, she decided to become someone who would please others, which is the main focus of her upcoming title. She continued, "Even in the family, I would not try to ruffle anyone's feathers. I just wanted to keep everybody happy with me all the time." Jinger Duggar later realized she didn't need to please anyone. But things are much different behind cameras. She revealed on social media there will be people who say stuff to any of us. They'll say things that are unkind, they'll have their own ideas of why I might do something. Jinger insisted that she only wanted to share from her heart and be an example for those who wanted to break free. She added, "Okay, we don't all have these perfectly curated lives, and I think that everybody needs to see that and understand we don't need to keep up this facade of who we want people to think we are, but we need to be genuine and real." Jinger Duggar is living a few hours away from the wildfire that is currently happening in California. However, the Counting on Alum has been extra careful over the past few days. She recently took to IG stories to share a screenshot from her phone showing an evacuation alarm that woke them up at 3 a.m. Jinger revealed that it was a false alarm, but everyone in their area had been on high alert.